As February unfolds, it brings with it the breath of new beginnings, change, and opportunities waiting to be embraced. This isn't just another month in the middle of the season, it's a time to pause, reflect on your journey, and realign with what truly matters in life. Those who understand the workings of the universe know that nothing happens by chance. Everything we experience is the result of past causes and conditions, seeds that have been planted long before. In Buddhism, numbers are not just symbols, they carry deep meanings that reflect the fundamental principles of existence. We have the Four Noble Truths of the Buddha, the Six Paramitas, perfections, and the Eightfold Path to Enlightenment. Each number holds wisdom, serving as a guiding force to lead us toward a more fulfilling life. These numbers are not mere choices, they are reminders of ethical principles, core values, and the path we are meant to follow. This February, we will uncover 5 special numbers, not as predictions of luck, but as symbols of personal growth, wisdom, and inner peace. Each number carries a profound message, a teaching that can help you find balance in your life. If you apply these principles, you will realize that luck is not something that comes from the outside, it is the result of conscious actions, a shift in perspective, and the way we interact with the world around us. Are you ready to welcome the positive energy of this month? Comment "I welcome luck and peace" to affirm your energy. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to continue exploring profound insights on Buddhism and life. Now, let's discover the 5 meaningful numbers that will guide us through this month. The number 4 holds a special significance in Buddhism, as it is closely associated with the Four Noble Truths, the fundamental principles that the Buddha realized and taught to help us understand the nature of life and find the path to ending suffering. This is not just a philosophical concept but a practical guide for anyone seeking inner peace and lasting happiness. The first truth is dukkha, the reality of suffering. In life, everyone experiences birth, aging, illness, and death. We all face loss, disappointment, anxiety, and countless challenges. Understanding this truth is not about becoming pessimistic, but about accepting that suffering is an inevitable part of life. When we do, we can learn to face it with wisdom instead of resistance. The second truth is samadaya, the cause of suffering. Suffering does not arise randomly, it stems from desire, attachment, and ignorance. When we crave something but fail to obtain it, we feel discontent. When we cling to things that are impermanent, we suffer when they change or disappear. Recognizing this truth helps us understand that suffering only ceases when we change our mindset and let go of attachment. The third truth is nirodha, the end of suffering. The Buddha taught that suffering is not permanent, it can be transformed. When we eliminate the roots of greed, anger, and delusion, we achieve a state of true peace, nirvana. This is not some distant, mystical place, but a state of inner tranquility, free from the turmoil of desires and afflictions. The fourth truth is marga, the path to the cessation of suffering. This is the Eightfold Path, which consists of 8 principles that guide us toward a mindful and righteous life: right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. By practicing these principles, we gradually purify our minds, freeing ourselves from suffering created by our own perceptions and reactions. This February, The number 4 appears as a reminder that instead of avoiding or trying to control things beyond our grasp, we should strive to understand and accept the nature of all things. True happiness does not come from eliminating all difficulties but from developing wisdom and the ability to face them with clarity and strength. When we embrace life's challenges as part of our journey, external changes will no longer disturb us. Beyond the 4 noble truths, the number 4 also represents the 4 immeasurable qualities: loving-kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. By cultivating these virtues, we lighten our hearts, ease conflicts in relationships, and create a more harmonious life. This month, ask yourself, am I perceiving my challenges with wisdom? Or am I avoiding them? Am I practicing compassion for myself and those around me? Am I ready to walk the path of transformation, turning suffering into wisdom? When we deeply understand and apply the 4 noble truths, we gradually discover the path to genuine peace and fulfillment. If you feel the power of the number 4 this month, comment "I welcome wisdom and peace" to affirm your commitment to self-growth and mindfulness. The number 6 holds deep significance in Buddhism as it represents the 6 paramitas, 6 virtues that help individuals overcome suffering, accumulate merit, and move closer to enlightenment. These are not just principles for monastics but guiding lights for everyone seeking to cultivate ethics, wisdom, and compassion in daily life. When applied, these 6 qualities can lead to a meaningful life, reduce suffering, and bring true happiness. Generosity is the first virtue, reminding us of the importance of giving and sharing. Giving is not just about money or material possessions, it also includes offering our time, kind words, and understanding. When we give without expecting anything in return, our hearts expand, and we release attachments to material wealth and selfish desires. Even the smallest act of generosity can plant the seeds of good karma, bringing peace to both the giver and the receiver. Morality is about maintaining ethical conduct, ensuring that our actions, speech, and thoughts do not cause harm to others. When we live with integrity, we experience peace of mind, free from regret and anxiety over past mistakes. Following ethical principles is not about rigid restrictions but about cultivating respect and responsibility toward ourselves and those around us. Patience is the ability to endure and remain compassionate in the face of difficulties. Life is full of challenges, misunderstandings, and unexpected hardships. When we learn to accept situations without resentment and practice patience without letting anger control us, we attain inner peace. The Buddha taught, "Patience is the greatest strength." Practicing patience does not mean passively tolerating injustice but rather maintaining equanimity and not being consumed by negative emotions. Diligence is the relentless effort in both spiritual practice and daily life. No path to success exists without persistence. If we want to change our lives, we must first change ourselves. Diligence helps us overcome laziness, procrastination, and self-doubt. Even slow progress, when consistent, leads to transformation. Meditation is the practice of training the mind to achieve tranquility and clarity. In modern life, our minds are often restless, filled with worries and distractions. Meditation allows us to return to ourselves, observe our thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. When the mind is calm, wisdom arises, and our decisions become clearer and more aligned with our true purpose. Wisdom is the final and most important virtue. Without wisdom, generosity can lead to attachment. Morality can become rigid dogma. Patience may turn into blind endurance. And diligence can become an endless pursuit of worldly success. Wisdom helps us see the impermanent nature of all things and understand that everything arises and fades due to causes and conditions. A wise person lives mindfully, free from unnecessary desires and suffering. This February, the number 6 serves as a reminder that self-transformation does not come from external circumstances but from the conscious actions we take every day. Ask yourself, am I practicing generosity? Or am I too attached to material possessions? Am I living ethically? Or do my words and actions sometimes cause harm? Am I patient in the face of challenges? Or do I easily lose my temper? Am I making an effort to improve myself? Or am I waiting for the perfect moment? Do I take time to pause, reflect, and listen to myself? Am I seeing things with wisdom? Or am I reacting based on fleeting emotions? When we embody the 6 paramitas, our lives naturally transform. Worries lessen. Inner peace grows. And relationships become more harmonious. If you feel the number 6 is inspiring you this month, comment "I welcome growth and wisdom" to affirm your commitment to self-improvement. The number 2 in Buddhism is closely connected to the principle of dependent origination, one of the Buddha's most profound teachings. Dependent origination explains that nothing exists independently, everything in this universe arises and changes based on interconnected causes and conditions. Every situation in life, whether good or bad, is the result of countless factors coming together. Understanding this allows us to see life more clearly, the relationship between actions and outcomes, and how we can create a better future through the choices we make today. Dependent origination is best understood through the Buddha's famous words, "When this exists, that exists; when this arises, that arises; when this ceases, that ceases." This means that all things rely on specific conditions to exist. For example, a flower does not appear on its own, it needs a seed, soil, water, sunlight, and time to grow. In the same way, happiness and suffering in our lives are not determined by fate but are the results of the thoughts, words, and actions we have cultivated. When we grasp the truth of dependent origination, we stop blaming others or external circumstances for our struggles. Instead of complaining about difficulties, we begin to focus on planting the right seeds. If we desire a happier life, we must act with compassion, wisdom, and mindfulness starting now. If we want healthy relationships, we must treat others with sincerity. If we aim for success, we must be persistent and put in continuous effort. The number 2 also reminds us of the importance of balance in life. In Buddhism, everything exists in duality, light and dark, joy and sorrow, success and failure, birth and death. When we realize that nothing is permanent, we won't be devastated by loss, nor will we become overly attached to what we currently have. Practicing balance helps us remain steady amid life's changes, allowing us to maintain inner peace regardless of the circumstances. This February, the number 2 serves as a reminder that everything in life is interconnected, and we have the power to shape the conditions we cultivate. Ask yourself, am I creating positive causes? Or am I reinforcing negative habits? Am I maintaining a balance between work and personal life? Or am I consumed by things that don't truly matter? Am I cherishing the relationships around me? When we understand and apply the principle of dependent origination, we no longer feel powerless in the face of life's challenges. We recognize that we have the ability to transform our reality and create a better future. If you feel the power of the number 2 this month, comment "I create positive conditions" to affirm your commitment to a mindful and responsible life. The number 8 in Buddhism holds profound meaning as it represents the Eightfold Path, the practical path to enlightenment and liberation. These 8 principles serve as essential guidelines for cultivating wisdom, morality, and mental discipline, helping us transform suffering and attain lasting peace. The Eightfold Path is not an abstract theory, it is a practical roadmap that anyone can apply in daily life to live with mindfulness, clarity, and purpose. Right view is the correct understanding of life, recognizing that everything is impermanent, and that all actions have consequences. When we develop right view, we stop clinging to illusions or rigid beliefs and begin to see things as they truly are. This helps us reduce suffering, detach from impermanent things, and live with greater awareness. Right thought is the practice of thinking correctly, avoiding greed, anger, and ignorance. Our thoughts shape our words and actions. So when we cultivate positive and wholesome thinking, we create the right conditions for a meaningful and fulfilling life. Right speech is speaking truthfully, avoiding lies, divisive words, harsh speech, and idle gossip. Words have immense power. They can bring harmony or create conflict, uplift others or cause harm. Practicing right speech allows us to build meaningful relationships and maintain inner peace. Right action is behaving ethically, and avoiding actions that harm ourselves and others. This includes refraining from killing, stealing, and engaging in harmful behaviors. When we act with kindness and integrity, we live without regret and free ourselves from the negative consequences of unwholesome actions. Right livelihood is earning a living in a way that aligns with ethical values, avoiding professions that harm others or compromise our morality. This reminds us that money is not the ultimate goal. What matters more is how we earn it and whether it contributes to a just and compassionate society. A righteous livelihood brings long-term peace and well-being. Right effort is the continuous practice of abandoning negative habits and cultivating positive qualities. Life is full of distractions and obstacles. But with steady effort, we can gradually overcome suffering, develop wisdom, and strengthen our moral character. Right mindfulness is maintaining awareness in every thought, word, and action. When we are mindful, we do not get lost in negative emotions or consumed by worries about the past or future. Instead, we fully engage with the present moment, experiencing life with clarity and peace. Right concentration is training the mind to remain stable and undisturbed, free from external distractions. With right concentration, we cultivate inner strength, allowing us to face challenges with resilience and courage, without fear or hesitation. This February, the number 8 appears as a reminder that happiness does not come from external circumstances but from how we think, act, and discipline ourselves every day. Ask yourself, am I seeing life with right understanding? Or am I caught in false perceptions? Am I mindful of my thoughts and speech? Am I practicing ethical behavior? Or am I still driven by harmful habits? Am I living an honest and righteous life? When we follow the Eightfold Path, our lives begin to transform. worries lessen, peace deepens, and our decisions become wiser. If you feel the power of the number 8 this month, comment "I walk the path of enlightenment" to affirm your commitment to mindfulness and personal growth. The number 3 holds deep significance in Buddhism as it represents the three jewels, the three guiding lights that illuminate the path of spiritual practice and lead us toward enlightenment. The three jewels consist of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. These are not just objects of reverence but powerful sources of wisdom, compassion, and determination that support us on our journey toward true peace and happiness. Buddha is the awakened one, the perfect example of a human being who has transcended suffering and attained complete liberation. Taking refuge in the Buddha does not mean simply worshipping a great teacher, it means learning from his wisdom, compassion, and mindfulness. This reminds us that each of us has the potential for enlightenment, as long as we cultivate diligence and dedication in our practice. Dhamma is the Buddha's teaching, the true path that leads to liberation from suffering. These teachings are not just empty words but practical principles that guide us toward mindfulness, help us let go of afflictions, and lead us to inner peace. When we apply Dhamma to our daily lives, we learn to manage our emotions, gain clarity in our thinking, and live a life filled with meaning. Sangha is the community of those who walk the path of the Buddha's teachings. It includes ordained monks and nuns who live by pure ethical conduct. But it also extends to all those, lay practitioners and householders alike, who are committed to spiritual growth. Having a supportive community gives us the motivation and guidance to stay strong in our practice and continue progressing on our journey. The number 3 also reminds us of the three essential aspects of a balanced life: body, mind, and intellect. The body must be cared for to remain strong. The mind must be nourished with peace. And the intellect must be expanded to overcome ignorance. When we learn to harmonize these three elements, suffering lessens, and life becomes more peaceful. This February, the number 3 serves as a reminder that if we seek true peace, we must turn toward authentic values, train our minds, and find a like-minded community to support our spiritual growth. Ask yourself, am I following the noble qualities of the Buddha? Or am I caught in negative habits? Am I applying his teachings in my daily life? Or am I merely listening without practice? Am I surrounding myself with relationships that nurture my spiritual development? The three jewels are the guiding light that keeps us from losing our way in a chaotic world. When we take refuge in Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, we gain a clear direction in life, no longer swept away by endless worldly desires. If you feel the power of the number 3 this month, comment "I take refuge in the three jewels" to affirm your commitment to mindfulness and spiritual practice. This February, the 5 special numbers we have explored are not merely lucky numbers but symbols of wisdom, ethics, and personal growth through Buddhist teachings. These are not numbers that bring random fortune but reminders that guide us toward greater mindfulness, righteous actions, and inner peace. The number 4 teaches us about the Four Noble Truths, the profound wisdom that helps us understand the nature of suffering and the path to its cessation. The number 6 reminds us to practice the 6 paramitas, cultivating virtue and compassion in our daily lives. The number 2 represents dependent origination, showing us that everything arises from conditions, and we have the power to shape a brighter future through our actions. The number 8 embodies the Eightfold Path, the practical steps leading us toward enlightenment and liberation. And finally, The number 3 signifies the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, the guiding lights that illuminate our spiritual journey and bring us true peace. These numbers are more than just insights, they are opportunities for us to realign our lives and grow in a positive direction. By understanding their deeper meanings, we stop relying on external luck and instead take responsibility for planting the right seeds, creating happiness from within. Now, ask yourself, how will you apply these lessons in your February? Are you ready to walk the path of mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom? Comment "I welcome peace and wisdom" to affirm your commitment to personal growth. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to continue receiving meaningful content on Buddhist teachings and how to apply them in daily life. Turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploring the 5 significant numbers of February 2025. Wishing you a month filled with wisdom, peace, and happiness.